What up, world? It's your boy Shake. Happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, happy everything. I hope you guys are flourishing right now. And because it's the holidays, that means there are probably lots of new Switch 2 owners out in the world. And you know, you've got your new system, you don't know where to start outside of Mario Kart World, and fortunately for you, I've had the Switch 2 since its launch, and I am a huge game collector. I've purchased everything from Yakuza 0 to Kunitsugami to WWE, and I am here to tell you my favorite Switch 2 titles that are absolutely worth your time. Now again, this is not a definitive list, but this is my favorite based on the games being 1, high quality, 2, offering something incredibly unique that utilizes the system incredibly well, and thirdly, are just overall really fun. So bear with me, y'all.
Number 5.
The first game I'm going to recommend for Switch 2 is none other than Hazelight Studios' Split Fiction. I immediately fell in love with this game once I actually dove in, and granted, I was late to the party, but what I can say is that this game is just incredibly fun. What I love about it is that it's really an homage to the best parts of gaming. If you are a gamer and you love different genres of gaming, whether it's action adventure or platforming or puzzle games or adventure games, this game has something for you. And not only does it incorporate all of these kind of themes and tropes from gaming's past, like that'll just make you smile. It's one of those things that remind you that gaming is truly meant to be communal. And as someone that's grown up playing couch co-op, I love playing this game because it requires you to communicate with whomever you're playing with. And the Switch 2 port is really gorgeous. The story is really fun. The characters are captivating, but most of all, the gameplay is where the game excels. I mean, you go from platforming like Prince of Persia, or running towards the screen like Crash Bandicoot, or you're solving puzzles like you would in like a Legend of Zelda. Next thing you know, you're thrown into a 2D shoot 'em up. It's like it constantly throws new genres at you, and it's just so much fun. The set pieces are gorgeous. You never know what to expect around any corner. The boss battles are fun, but most importantly, it reminds you that gaming is best enjoyed when you have someone else. So if you haven't picked up Split Fiction, I promise you, it is absolutely worth the price of entry. Pick it up. It's definitely one of my favorite Switch games.
Number 4.
My next Switch 2 recommendation has been left off of a lot of people's lists. And to be quite honest, it kind of pisses me off, because it seems to me that there is inherently a bias around games that are either action adventure or outright RPGs by major media outlets. But I'm going to tell you, one of the Switch 2 games that you absolutely should invest in is Street Fighter 6. It is an incredibly competent port, and it is gorgeous. It runs at 60 frames per second, and for $60, you're getting the base game with 2 years of the DLC content, so it's an incredible value. And even if not, I've noticed on the eShop that the base game without the DLC has been on sale for $20. But the reason why this is so important is not only is it a showpiece for the system, and it legitimately is, and even Digital Foundry has said that this Switch 2 version is comparable to the PS5 and Xbox Series S version specifically. It's just a fun game, and it's one of the first times that Nintendo has had a mainline Street Fighter game on its console in decades. I think the last time we actually had a mainline Street Fighter was on the Super NES when Street Fighter Alpha 2 came out. And I share that to say that this game is gorgeous, it is fun. You can, because it supports cross-platform play, if you're playing online, you can absolutely always find matches, so I'm always getting my butt kicked. But this is one of the games that I keep coming back to time and time again, and it just really proves that the Nintendo Switch 2 is a really competent machine that can produce AAA games at an extraordinary clip. Like, real talk, if you haven't and you like fighting games, or you've ever grown up on Street Fighter, definitely dive in. This is the right time, and it runs wonderfully on Switch 2.
Number 3.
The next game on my list is another one that's been neglected by mainstream media outlets, and I get it. It's probably more niche, it's a sports game, but I tell you, and when I say this, I promise on everything I love, pick up WWE 2K25 on Nintendo Switch 2. The game is comparable to its big brother counterparts on the PS5 and Xbox Series. It is feature complete with the exception, there's only one exception, that there's no image uploading, which absolutely does impact, the creation suite if you want to create cars and have their real faces like you can on the other systems. But other than that, the game has every single game mode, and in fact, it actually includes the island, which was excluded on last-gen systems like the PS4. But the thing about this game that's most impressive is not only does it look good, not only does it run well, and everything else, it also has the best implementation of game share of any Nintendo Switch 2 game, period. You can literally get into a game chat and invite 4 or 5 friends to play the game, even if they don't own it. And I think it's one of the selling points that I wish 2K would actually advertise more. Again, it's an incredibly fun wrestling game with deep mechanics. I mean, it's one of those things that I always say, it kind of reminds me of EA. Where they say it's in the game, it's actually in the game. There's so much you can do. It really plays up the drama and theatrics of wrestling. You want to jump off of a ladder onto an opponent on the table, you can do it. And most importantly, I think for Nintendo fans that have a long-standing affinity for wrestling games based on the old Aki games like WCW versus NWO Revenge, or even the GameCube's Day of Reckoning series, this is the first wrestling game, competent wrestling game, to hit a Nintendo console in literally 2 decades, 20 years, y'all. So please, give it a shot. It's one of my favorite games. Obviously, most of my channel has been built on covering this game, but I promise you through and through, it is an incredible port. It's very impressive, and most importantly, game share works like wonder on it.
Number 2.
This next game is funny, and honestly, in some regards, it might be an honorable mention only because it is not by default a Switch 2 game. But what I can say, I have been having so much fun with this game. So the good folks at Dotemu and Guard Crush Games, we know them for Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge and also for Streets of Rage 4. They put out Absalom, which is a roguelike beat 'em up. And it's consumed so much of my time over the last few days. First off, the hand-drawn art style is fantastic. It jumps at you like it's coming straight off the pages of a comic book or a Saturday morning cartoon. The mechanics are incredibly deep for a beat 'em up, but the roguelike elements really enhance the gameplay because it incentivizes coming back, because you never know what your character build is going to be like. You can choose between 1 of 4 characters, but every time you play the game, it's a different experience because of the rolls you get on your upgrades. Not only that, there are so many alternate paths and secrets that you can find. It really is just It changes the way that I think about beat 'em ups and my expectations of beat 'em ups. And to be quite honest, I don't know how the genre even evolves from here, because I think having this roguelike element perfectly complements what beat 'em ups are, which are meant to be played over and over again. And again, the game is just so much fun. You can play it online. Co-op is fantastic, and also the difficulty is real considering that it's a roguelike. So you're gonna get your butt kicked a lot when you start the game, but once you get a handle on the enemy types, on parrying and how you can counter, which is really a huge part of the game's mechanics as well, it is probably the best beat 'em up I have played in a very long time. So Absalom, although not a Switch 2 edition, is really one of my favorite games on Switch at the moment. So I highly encourage you to check it out. Definitely pick it up.
Number 1.
The other game that I am going to recommend is the marquee title for Switch 2. And no, I am not talking about Mario Kart World. Instead, I am talking about Donkey Kong Bonanza. As Nintendo enthusiasts, I know we all wanted Mario, but truth be told, what they served up is probably better. Donkey Kong Bonanza is such an incredible game. It really incentivizes just exploration in a way that I could not have imagined going into the game. Like, it really doesn't start to click until you find your first Bonandium gem in a bunch of rubble, and it's like, oh my goodness, this entire world is destructible. And the thing about the gameplay loop and the mechanic that I love is that in collecting the Bonandium gems, it's not a requirement in the same way that you have to collect the moons in Mario Odyssey to progress. Yes, you collect the Bonandium gems, but you can absolutely get through each biome or stage without having to collect them all or having to hit a certain benchmark. It's the tried and true mechanic of just playing to have fun. You know, as you're navigating these biomes and these worlds and you're doing all sorts of crazy stuff and you're breaking everything, there's just a joyful, a really whimsy about the gameplay mechanic, right? It kind of feels like you're a kid again, just wreaking havoc and destruction in a way that just really like makes you smile. Again, the game is gorgeous. There are a couple of like performance hiccups, but nothing that takes away from the game too much. Through and through, though, I would have to say that it's been one of my favorite experiences on the Switch. It's gorgeous the way that it really rethinks DK as a character and what we can expect from the franchise moving forward, in a similar way to what I think like has happened with Luigi and the Luigi's Mansion franchise. Donkey Kong Bonanza is definitely like, if you want that Nintendo itch with that Nintendo quality that we've come to expect and love, this is definitely a game that you want to invest some time into. And granted, the game has been out for quite some time right now, so I won't spoil the ending, but it has one of the best final stages and final bosses you could ever ask if you've been a long-time Nintendo fan. So definitely, please do yourself the favor and pick up Donkey Kong Bonanza. So listen, y'all, that's my list. You know what I'm saying? Again, there's a bunch of games on the Switch too, and those have been my favorites. So while I definitely have Mario Kart World, and some people might think it's egregious that I left it off the list, I think that there are some really amazing experiences to be had on Nintendo Switch 2, and those are my top 5 picks. If you love this content or even like it, even if you dislike it, please leave a comment. Let me know what your top 5 Nintendo Switch 2 games are in the comments. And as always, I definitely appreciate you taking the time to check out my content. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Listen, holla at your boy. Peace.